everyone. Welcome back. Another Monday morning here with us. Today I am on my own. Zika is enjoying a very important time in another place that she will probably comment next week when she's back. And we have been receiving a lot of inputs regarding this work here, the goal of this life, of the acting for the new earth, from the guests that had been with us, and also from you guys, people watching. So I want first of all to thank you for that, for those inputs, and for bringing us further in thinking the way that this change, that this movement should happen. So for the ones that are here for the very first time, although we have been now doing the series for 32 weeks towards the end of the year, we are reaching it. We are here talking about, well, acting for the new earth. So our goal is to come away, get away from only thinking and reflecting and our own self-development, towards going into really real action with our hands, our feet, our body, our mind, our power, our love, our creativity, in order to create what we call the new earth, the new era, the era of Aquarius, which is also the place of what we call the paradisiac world. And for that, we need to be and to become and to exercise being paradisiac beings, paradisiac people on a daily basis. And we can just start to think about what that means, to feel that in. If you are here for the first time, feel that in. What does it mean to be a paradisiac being, a paradisiac human being? Or you could say, like, what does it mean to be an angel? Some people connect angels with paradise, but if we would be to live in paradise, if earth would be a paradisiac place, how would the beings, the people, behave in that place? How would they walk? How would they talk? How would they connect with each other? How would they relate to nature? So it's all about, first of all, imagining this place, imagining these people, and then about perceiving that we are that people. We are to become, we are to be that people from now onwards. It's not a future state, it's a state that we are building right now on our daily basis. And we do need to reflect, to understand what does it means to be a paradisiac being, so that we can start being it day by day. So we have been speaking about those qualities in all the last chapters, and we have many other chapters to speak about many specific qualities. And today when I woke up, I also got a message from Zeka, and because of all those inputs and meetings happening towards the other weeks, one question that arises, and this was also a phrase that a friend of mine brought in the last days, and I thought, okay, this is a sign, this is saying something, we need to speak about it, is why is the human species the only one that creates problems, so to say? We could observe in nature if any other species have caused so many injuries and calamities to our world, and I believe the answer is not. I might be wrong. Please prove me wrong if you think so. It will be great to chat about it, but why is humankind the only species that creates problems, right? And why am I asking that, and why am I connecting the dots? Because we are here in a journey towards a collective consciousness, And humankind, human beings right now in our time have been disconnected from common purposes, be it because of capitalism, be it because of the industry, be it because of whatsoever. Important is to recognize this state that we have been drawn, pushed towards, or we have developed ourselves towards individualistic lifestyle. So families are also very individualized nowadays. You know, children are seen as just, you know, ownership of the parents, among many other things. Like you have your car, your bike, your own things, you know, you have your school. It's everything touches the self, like it's mine, it's mine, it's mine. It's individualistic. And when we also walk towards the spiritual path, people start that path with their own development. It could not be different at this state in time, people. It could not be different. So until here, all fine. You start with your self-development, you start with your understanding, with reflections, with therapy, with meditation, with sports, whatsoever, dance, singing. You start your inner development. You start recognizing, who am I as a person, as a being? What do I need and want to unfold, to um, bring to a next level of, let's say, spiritual development. I don't like the word development, that's why I try to substitute it all the time, but it's not that easy. So when you start that path, that journey of looking at yourself, developing yourself, understanding yourself, and you are in the middle of a context that is very individualistic, you develop an idea of what is your mission and what is your journey. And because this has such an important impact inside of us, because we want so much to awaken out of the system, because we want to live a life with more purpose, with more reason to be, with more kindness, with more love. This is very intense. This is extremely intense. And the first thing we do is to put that mission out and say, you know, this is my mission. And here is the problem. Here is what we need to reflect about. My mission. It's the mine. The mine is the problem that we need to transpass, that we need to transcend. Because as long as this is my mission, as long as this is your mission, we will have difficulties into converging. And the new time, the new era, a paradisiac world can only come to be if it is collective. If it is collective. So my mission, your mission, others' missions, they need to start converging. We need to see these on a very high level when we speak about countries and continents, but also on the micro level. Me and you, right? We need to converge our missions, our individual missions into one. And searching for that one, even if it has a lot of diversity, but it needs to be one, it needs to become one. You can imagine, for example, a bee house. I don't know how it's called in English, so sorry for that. A colmeia in Portuguese. I also don't know the word in German. Well, Zilka will know. But a bee house, right? You have the queen, the bee queen, that has a purpose to procreate and have more bees that will build the so-called army, the bee army. I also don't like that word, but I believe this is how it's called. And those are responsible for working, for going out to the flowers, bringing, you know, the compound to make the honey, and make food so that newborns can get nurtured and the bee house can grow. So they don't decide on their own what they will do. They are born with a purpose, right? With a task, and don't they don't ask at any time of their lives if they were really supposed to do that. Trees also are born, they grow, they are here for their purpose, they have a mission, you know, to help our planet to breathe, among many other things we don't even imagine and can't talk about it right here, right now, because it would simply be another topic. It would be too much for today. But the tree is born, it grows, and it fulfills its task. And humankind, we, me, you, we as a species, we have been given what they call the free will. And this free will is also going through a process of deep transformation. And then you might ask, so Carol, so are we losing our free will? Are we going backwards in time? Because people think this is a problem. To lose free will is a problem. But I do want you guys to reflect upon it, because right now, in our time, free will has become our biggest problem, our biggest enemy. It's here inside, and it is our free will, our resistance into following one path, one truth, one direction. And of course we have a problem with that, because our world, our whole society is full of selfish wishes and selfish directions and selfish truths. So I cannot relate to that. I don't want to relate to that, to the one truth of one or one truth of another, or the will of another is not the will of the whole. And connecting our minds, our purposes, our bodies, our daily tasks to something that is above all of that is the challenge. And we can only do that through self-spiritual development. But during that process, we need to detach from that our mission, from that our past, from the resistance into accepting what it is from another. So how are we getting to the transformational side? How are we getting to the collective mind, the collective purpose, the one mission, the one truth, if everything we see is just the truth of the selves? Is a big question, right? And I don't have the solution for that, because it's not here yet. There is a long time still, maybe not that long, but somehow long time, until we get to a true collective consciousness, through a place where humanity will really work together. And you could imagine that like in a economic, industrial level, for example. Imagine all the countries, you know, understanding which is the task of each one, not competing anymore, not having their own profit, their own sellings, their own exports or imports. No, it's one. It's one system that will deliver everything that every single country needs. So if we here in Brazil have one purpose of producing, of keeping a certain thing, and there in Germany you have the purpose of producing or keeping another thing, and in the US and the African countries and in Asia, every single country knowing what it can give the best for the world, and it's not what the country wants, it's what it have that the world needs, and it will focus its production into that matter, and it will supply for free, right? Because it will receive supplies for free from all the other countries, and all countries will invest together in this system, in this distribution system, so that every single country has access to all goods that are being produced around the world, and not goods that are superficial and that we don't need, goods that we need, goods that bring us health, comfort, prosperity, beauty, in a very harmonized way. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? So this is the same image, the same goal that we need to invite for ourselves as single beings when we want to develop ourselves towards a common and collective world. Because the new era, the era of Aquarius, it is collective. It will only work in a collective manner. And I mean, Zirka and I have been starting this collective, and it has been 32 chapters. We had 2 guests, and our group still didn't unfold for beyond the 2 of us. And we need to start asking ourselves why. What do we need to open more for that? And what is happening also outside that is not allowing other people to join in? And I want to invite all of you, me, Zilka, everybody that was here as a guest, everybody that is watching, everybody that has their own mission. Let's really detach from that certainty of the one mission. I want everybody to do this exercise because it is the practical manner to unfold what we need to come to a common goal, to a collective mission, to a collective state. You detach from your mission. You simply, accept for a moment, you choose for a moment that your mission was not the mission, and that you will join forces with somebody else. You will buy into their mission. For this period, you will tell yourself, you will choose, you will exercise detaching, and invest your time is money, so invest your money, invest your presence into the mission of somebody else. And you stay there for a while. It might be days, it might be months, it might be even an year, dedicating yourself towards their purpose, identifying, feeling on a daily basis how it resonates here inside you. How does it make sense inside you? How it does reflects also your own mission. How this own mission that I had before and I detached from it so that I can exercise, my ego, letting out my ego, so that I can exercise working collectively. And I can only do this if it's not my mission, right? So if you have never follow the path of another. Of course, it does need to make sense for you, right? It should not be completely senseless. You haven't exercised this one cell, this one particle of the new era that is the collective goals, the collective missions, the collective living. So you do need to leave your mission behind and buy into the mission of somebody else. If you have never done that, it's your duty, it's your main exercise for the transformation, for the transition, is doing that, is having that experience. You do need to let go of your own wishes, of your own mission, of your own self. It's an exercise. It doesn't mean that the mission of the other person is the mission, is the true mission, because probably it's not. Nobody right now has the true mission, right? We are not there yet. We are not capable of grasping it. We are just coming closer to it, bit by bit. So it's about allowing yourself and wanting yourself to exercise that place. And from that space, when you are in the space of the other, when you feel into it, when you live it, when you contribute to it, and you bring your presence into that space, that's more or less what is happening right now with me and Zika in the lives. When you bring your presence into that space, and there is also allowance for that to be together, right? To co-create, to transform that space, then things start to develop in the direction that we need, that we are talking and seeing the future. Because it's not more anymore the mission of the one, it's the mission of the two, and then of the three, of the four, of the group. So in one side, we do need to have, the detachment of my mission to jump into somebody else's mission. And that somebody else's that was already there, starting, igniting the mission, needs also to detach and say, okay, now this space will receive the compounds of other people that have the same purpose, that want to fulfill the same goal, but they are other cells. So they think differently, they act differently than me, and they can aggregate, they can sum up, they can make a compound. So the one that was there from the beginning also needs to detach and say, okay, I open that space and I welcome the other cells to contribute with me. And this is the way that missions, that companies, that systems will unfold and will also transcend, will grow, will be, in prosperity from now onwards. This is the mechanism that the new era is asking us to build up, to fulfill. So I hope you guys got the point, and if you got the point and don't agree, let us know. If you do agree, let us know as well. It's about communicating, it's about chatting, it's about exchanging ideas, it's about walking together towards the solution. We don't know which one it is, but we do know the image, the vision of how that system, of how that new world should become, right? So imagine again, invite again yourselves to imagine the system, the worldwide system I just described a few minutes ago, where every single country will be contributing with what it has best to contribute and what is necessary into the world, not charging for that, but working collectively to be able to sustain all the countries in the world, and we will be paradisiac people. So imagine a paradise. Imagine how the people in paradise behave, and become that people today, here and now. And the first goal for that is to detach from your mission, detach from your solution, detach from your goal, and move towards the goal of another. All right? This is the challenge of the week. Let's see where we are next Monday. We will see you same time, same place. And thank you for everybody that was here present today, for all the comments, and also for the ones to come. Bye bye, everyone. Thank you so much.